Welcome back to the ILL INI segment. That's part of the Coach Steve Show. You can find everything about the Illini on the ILL INI segment. All you got to do is like and subscribe to the YouTube channel of the Coach Steve Show. Follow on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. This is a segment dedicated to everything with the University of Illinois athletics, the best we can to keep up with everything that's going on there. Lots of good things happening down there. So welcome everybody that's watching, listening, anything like that. College football is almost back. We're in July. We're in the thick of it. Today is July 7th. So here pretty soon, the teams are going to report back for their fall camp, getting ready, and college football will be back. It's the best football out there. Even if you're an NFL fan, spring football fan, anything like that, I respect it, but nothing's better than college football. And nothing right now is better than what's going on with the University of Illinois and being an Illini fan. Coach Bielema and staff have us in conversations that we have not been in a very, very long time. Since his tenure there, they have been thrown around. Can they make it to the Big Ten title a couple years ago? This past season, they were ranked in the college football playoff at one point. They had a 10-win season after their bowl game win versus South Carolina. That is a standard. That is a season for us Illinois fans that we just don't get very often. And when you listen to Coach Bielema and you listen to Josh Whitman, they're looking for something that is consistent winning, not win 10 games here and then the next year win 4, which has been the Illini tradition for many years. But since Coach Bielema has gotten there, I don't think we've had conversations like this about Illinois since the Rose Bowl. When the Rose Bowl was going on, that was the only time. And then the following year, supposed to have a good season, and we just could never do it. I always call it waiting for the other shoe to drop when we talk about our Illinois football team, even our basketball team, but good things are happening there. But today we're going to discuss the Illinois football team. Like I said, they're coming off a 10-win season, which is fantastic, winning a bowl game. And the recruiting that Coach Bielema and staff have done have been fantastic. The keeping players to come back for this next season is awesome. And one thing with Coach Bielema is this is going to be his third year in a row having the same coordinator, special teams, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. And he talked about this, saying when you can keep those type of positions intact for a couple seasons and you're able to retain players that play in those systems, they're able to play without thinking. They're able to kind of predict what the coordinator is going to call next in certain situations, what's the coordinator looking for. They're keeping, I know they've replaced a couple of position coaches, but from last year to this year, keeping a lot of the same position coaches as well. This is poised for Illinois to have a big season. And I know that they're trying their best to not look at the hoopla. I think they kind of like flying under the radar a little bit. But Illinois is predicted and in conversations to make the college football playoff. And that is a huge step forward in the culture and the program that is being built at Illinois. For any fellow Illinois fans, I don't know if we ever thought we'd get to the point when they came out with the playoff, expanded it. They're going to expand it again and probably expand it again. I don't know if we ever necessarily thought that we would ever be in those conversations, and even in the conversations to possibly get to the Big Ten championships, anything like that. So today we're going to discuss, is there a chance that our Illinois Fighting Illini can make a college football playoff run? Is it even possible that they could get there at the end of the season? Now, I know people have their ideas and their thoughts about expanding the college football playoff, but for teams like Illinois and where they're at right now, when they expand, it allows hope into teams like Illinois and those mid-tier top 25 rankings. So we're going to talk about with their schedule, with who they have coming back, what possibility do they have to make the playoff? I want to make sure I give you guys the right ranking here. Preseason top 25. Illinois, it's around 11 or so. Now, I've watched people's rankings outside of that, and they have Illinois ranked. A lot of people not even up that high. They don't have them even thinking about the playoff. But before we talk about the schedule, Illinois has 18 starters coming back. Okay, 18 starters. And they have their entire offensive line coming back. They have their quarterback coming back. They have running backs coming back. They have Xavier Scott coming back. They have others coming back that played on that defense. Okay. So from keeping 18 returning starters is huge, especially in this transfer portal era where starters leave. That just shows that those players believe in what's going on at Illinois and see that they are poised to do something big. If they were to make the college football playoff, that would put Illinois more on the map than it is now. Because when you've got ESPN talking about Illinois, you've got Fox Sports talking about them, you've gotten people wanting to talk to Brent Bielema now and talk about Illinois football. That means good things are happening. So when you've got 18 starters coming back from a 10-win season, that's a lot of snaps. And a lot of those offensive linemen, this is their second year coming back. This is their third year coming back. Luke Altmaier, he had opportunities to go. It was reported that some Southern schools in the SEC were reaching out to him to leave, and he chose not to. He went and talked to Coach Bielema and said, before I even think about leaving, who's going to be the offense coordinator? Who's going to be the quarterback's coach? What players are coming back? He looked at all of that, saw who was coming back, and said, we've got this. We've got a team that can compete in this Big Ten, and I think can make a college football playoff run. Now, I know people have their thoughts about Luke Altmaier. There was times where, but I thought last year he took a major step forward. I thought that, there's even talks this year about him being a Heisman Trophy winner. Illini fans will tell you they don't like talking about their playoff hopes. I know, this makes me, but I got to live in this world a little bit. Got to live in the world a little bit. It is fun to talk about because there is an opportunity there for them to make the playoff. So I just want to talk about it. Is it even possible? Is this even something that should be on our mind? I've had the opportunity to talk to an assistant coach for Illinois, and I messaged some back and forth. They're the same way. They're like, hey, we are appreciative that people are talking about it. We're appreciative that they're looking at the good work that is going on. It just helps their recruiting as well. When people talk about them on a national stage, it gets more eyeballs on them. And with the Big Ten expanding from West Coast to East Coast, and they're seeing that stuff on TV. So when Bielema and staff call a recruit, they know who they are. They're not calling somebody saying Illinois, like, where's Champaign? Where's that? Like, what? No, they're getting put on notice. So yes, do I like talking about this? Yes and no. But I just want to because it's fun. This is fun. Okay, we're hanging out. So let's talk about Illinois. They're ranked in the mid-tier of top 25. They're going to expand the playoff. There is a chance, but they have an opportunity to, if they go 9 wins, 10 wins, because there was even a case last year that they could have made the playoff last year. Looking at their schedule, there was that one loss to Minnesota that kind of hurt them. But when you looked at other teams that were on the bubble to make the playoff, they were up there, and they had a decent enough debate argument to maybe even get slid in last year. So this year, expanding, if it's going to expand even more, they have a chance. Now with recruiting, they are now in contention and recruiting with the big boys. And they're according to 24/7 Sports, for football in the Big Ten, They are ranked number 7. They are competing with the Penn States, the Oregons, the Michigans, and the Ohio States. Um, Illinois has more commits than Michigan, Oregon, even Ohio State. They just go by the number of stars, but the quality of player and what Illinois gets and the development that the coaches do is awesome. In 2025, the class of 2025 recruiting in the Big Ten, Illinois was ranked number 13 according to 24/7 Sports, but they go by, you know, your 5 stars and your 4 stars. Um, and then they got some guys. They'll get a couple from the transfer portal, but they keep moving up in the recruiting rankings. If you want to, people have their opinions. We have to go by looking at that. They go by the stars, but Illinois is getting a lot of national players, whether they're 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. They're getting people, and they are in contention to get players that the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States, the USCs, all these guys, it used to just be them, but now they're sliding Illinois' name into there. So the fact that they're able to get these guys, um, they had 18 3-star players, and people are like, what do you mean? Like, why? I would rather have 3, because the stars sometimes mean nothing. They mean something, but they don't mean something. And with Illinois and the development that they're doing with the players, to have 18 3-stars, they get them ranked number 18 in the country for class of 2026. So of all the Power Fives, out of all those, they're up there. They have never, I don't know if they've ever been ranked this high in recruiting. So they're doing a good job in recruiting. They kept all the starters that are coming back. I'd even say if Luke Altmaier can come out and play, I'm not saying he is going to win the Heisman, because I don't do that till we get into the season. But don't be shocked if at some point people start saying, like, should he be talked about in the top 5 if he comes out and plays the way he can play? Now, with Illinois, with all the starters coming back, they do have to replace a couple that went on to play in the league. Your Pat Bryants, Franklin, everything like that, these certain receivers. But the recruiting that they've done with the running backs in the backfield, it's very comparable to some of the running backs that Coach Bielema had when he was at Wisconsin. And the fact that you can have big bruisers in the backfield, you can have like Aiden Laudry that can come out. He could be a bruiser, but he's also speedy. So now you have Fagan coming back. This type of running back room where they don't have to have every single down running back. They all bring something different to the table, because Fagan's coming off an injury. They want to stay healthy. And now that they're expanding the playoff, if you're thinking about making it, now you have to be healthy enough to make it to the end of the season, especially if you're in that contention for the playoff. So with their deep running backfield, they have athletic guys at wide receiver. They just have to get on the same page with Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier is putting in the work. You have your entire offensive line coming back. You have linebackers coming back. You have your defensive backfield coming back with the same coordinators. They are going to make some noise this year. Last year, nobody believed me. You can go way back. And I remember even some of my friends' podcasts, I go on there and said, Illinois is going to win 8 to 10 games. And I said 8 to 10 games. And people just said, I don't see where they win 8 to 10 games. I was one of the only ones publicly and kept telling people they are going to win and you are going to be shocked. And the teams that they lost to outside of Minnesota, I said those were the only teams I could maybe see that they lose to because of what those teams had. People thought they were going to lose to Nebraska. People thought they could have lost to Purdue. People thought this. I was one of the, and Michigan, I said they'll beat Michigan. They'll do this, like these type of things. I was one of the only ones. So can they make a run? Okay. Now, before I say this, I know some coaches at these schools I'm about to say, but I'm an Illinois fan. Okay. I am looking at their schedule. Okay. And looking at their schedule, it is set up favorably that they win some games this year. Okay. They start off with Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana. Then and after you get to those, we start the Big Ten play. So the 3 non-cons: Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan. Their Big Ten plays are Indiana, USC, Purdue, Ohio State, Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern. I am looking at this schedule. Okay. Indiana was good last year. They recruit well. They're doing things the right way. It's at Indiana, but Illinois' got a lot coming back. So people are saying, well, Indiana this, Indiana that. I respect what they're doing there, but I think they can get it. USC is not playing the best, and they're the ones coming to Illinois all the way from California. So it's a homecoming weekend there as well for Illinois. So favorably, it's going to lean towards Illinois. Purdue's got a whole new coaching staff, new players. We're going to see how that rolls. Ohio State is going to be the tough one because they're the reigning national champions, but they lost some players. I know they reload, but it's home against them. That's a trap game for Ohio State. People are thinking Illinois is going to lose to Washington. Washington is good. They've got a decent head coach. I could see them winning that game as well. Rutgers is a trap game for Illinois because they are a tough team. You just never sleep on them. Maryland, the same way. Wisconsin, I think, is in a downward spiral. And Northwestern, it's just a rivalry game, and we've had their number the last couple years. So when I look at this schedule, you're looking at Ohio State and Washington. To me, the two that stick out that could give them some trouble, right? Reigning national champions, Washington 2 years removed from the national championship game in the playoffs. It's at Washington, which is a super tough place to play. Those are the two that you're looking at. So right there, you're looking at 10-2. You're looking at 10-2 and trying to see if you can't make it into that Big Ten title game. Just depends on how the rest of the Big Ten falls. But if they sit there at 10-2 with the expanded playoff and they can go on and beat Indiana, USC, and then they get that Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and they do that 10-2, they are going to make the college football playoff. Okay, I hate talking about this, but I'm calling it right now. I think they will make the college football playoff because of the experience they have coming back. That's a lot of experience coming back, a lot of snaps coming back, a lot of seeing different types of offenses, seeing different types of defenses. If they play the way they can play and the way they're talking or how they keep it week by week, because they asked Coach Bielema, what's the biggest game on your schedule? He said Western Illinois. Western Illinois is the biggest game on our schedule. That's week one. That's where their mindset is. If everything's going the way we're hearing and they do things the way we're hearing and they take it week by week, and this is no disrespect to the other teams because I know a couple coaches at Duke. They do a good job. Indiana does a good job. USC has a great offensive mind in Lincoln Riley. They have a new coaching staff at Purdue, so that one you never know. Ohio State's Ohio State. Washington is Washington. Rutgers is that sneaky team that teams just don't want to play because you either get a Rutgers team that's mid or they show up and they play lights out and you're freaking out because it took Illinois down to the wire to beat them before. That one always scares you. Same thing with Maryland. Depends on what Maryland you get. I'm not worried about Wisconsin right now. I think things just aren't going well there. I think they're doing a good job at Northwestern, but they're kind of in the same boat Illinois was. Second year there with that coaching staff. They're trying to get it built up. It's at Champaign. Coach Bielema, that's an in-state school. They know that's a rival. They compete with them in recruiting, so they'll be pumped up for that game. USC, you could put up there, as one of those other sneaky ones. But if they show up, they take care of business. They have depth at their positions. If they stay healthy and they execute, the receivers step up, and they're able to do the things they've been able to do. And even if they win 9 games, if we want to sit here and say, that you could see the Ohio State and the Washington game, where's another one? To me, another one is USC, Rutgers, or Maryland. One of those. I know the Wisconsin one's at Wisconsin, but again, I just don't see that being a threat unless they just show up and ball out just randomly they show up and ball out. But 9-3, you could even talking about making the playoffs, depending how the rest of it falls, the rest of the Big Ten falls. People are really high on Michigan this year. Michigan State's got a good head coach. Depends what happens in the SEC with how those teams fall, and you look at their schedules. So if Illinois plays the way that everybody comes back and can play, I'm saying it right now, do not be shocked when they're ranked in the college football playoff. Do not be shocked if they make the college football playoff. And I'm saying it right here people are going to look at the schedule and find different losses and stuff. I'm not right about everything. I talk to people close to the program, and I'm very blessed that I can do that. I'm very blessed that I can have a little bit of insight, not the same insight that you see the Illinois Inquirer have, anything like that. But from what I'm seeing and what we saw last year, and not the cockiness, when you listen to these players, there's no cockiness, there's nothing. They are confident, they are motivated, they want to make history at Illinois, and they understand that they have to take it week by week because Coach Bielema has instilled that in them and is doing a fantastic job doing so. So I'm telling you, they are going to make a push, and I think they will make it. I am about 80 to 90% confident that they can make it and will make it, but they have to take care of business because in this transfer portal world, in this name, image, and likeness world, the now new revenue sharing, I know things are going to level out. And there's teams on here that they cannot sleep on. They cannot, look ahead. They cannot look ahead of Rutgers. They can't look ahead of Maryland and Wisconsin. They cannot do that. They have to understand that there's wiggle room here and still be in contention to make that playoff, but there's not as much wiggle room as we think. Now they get it to 16 teams. There's a little bit more wiggle room. Okay. When it used to be just the top two, there was no wiggle room. You lose a game, you're probably not making it. 95%, you're not making it. It went to 4. You lose 2 games, you're out, right? Now it gets to 8 teams. You lose 2, you could still probably make it. They expand it. There's still wiggle room. They expand it again, wiggle room, if you see what I'm saying. So now it's not always do or die and like your season's ruined. You lose 1 game and it's done. You can't make the playoff or you can't make the national championship game. There is hope here for them to make the championship game or the college football playoff. Then we'll get to about the championship later. And especially if they can somehow wiggle it to play in Champaign in December and they get a team that's playing in the warm to come to Champaign. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but wouldn't that be fun? You get a Southern team, something like that, to come play in the cold. Woof. That's why I like to play off and they host them because you can have that home field advantage. Look at Ohio State. Tennessee had to go there and they acted like it's cold and everything. It didn't bother Ohio State. They're like, we always play in the cold. Illinois always plays in the cold. Michigan plays in the cold. So it never bothers them. So Coach B and them are doing a great job at Illinois with recruiting. The schedule is set up favorably. If they take care of business week in and week out like they did last year, and they don't slip up like they had with Minnesota, they'll be the first to tell you that. They can't have one of those slip-ups. College football playoffs, here we come, baby, with the University of Illinois. So thank you guys watching or listening. Remember, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow on X, Coach_Steve72, or the Coach Steve Show on X as well. There's both of them. Instagram, exactly the same thing. Coach Steve72, Coach Steve Show, both on there. TikTok, Coach Steve72 as well, all there on TikTok. Check out talks with college football coaches and everything else. There's a couple other interviews coming down the pipe, working on trying to get a special guest. We'll see if that works out this summer. So check all that stuff out. Keep room for the Illini. So this is an ILL-INI segment of the Coach Steve Show. You got to like and subscribe to the Coach Steve Show YouTube channel to get this. So thank you guys for watching or listening. This is Coach Steve. We'll see you guys next time.